live. Do I really need all this shit? Share your screen with the audience. No, because you can't still my shit. Get all of this stuff going. Take this shit off. Share the invite. Actually, don't know how to do that shit. Never done this. Starting from a new position. Where's the chat? What do we got there? What's up, mate? Good to see you. Lee CEO. Where the fuck are you from? Good to see you, lads. First time that I've ever done a live, actually. Obviously, it's not the first time that I've done content, but I'll share the chat as well. What's going on? What do you guys want to talk about? Is there anything to specifically discuss? Are we going to discuss shit from life? I just did TCM exercise reviews for guys. So what we did was exercises that essentially determine the foundational qualities of things that make the man. You want to discuss the lattice? Let's wait till we get more people in. But what do you want to hear covered to do with it? Like, do you guys even have a basic understanding of this lattice idea? Like, what do you think of my basilisk concept? I think that I expand on Grinberg's work with that. So what do we think? We're going to hear about crypto, anything that's happening with that. Are you guys fully invested? I would expect that if you're not fully invested in crypto, seeing where altcoins are going now, like you're obviously like a retard, like you're a retard in the space. You don't know shit about money. That's the thing. Like, this is the crypto. The next 3 to 6 months is for the freest money that you're ever going to get. The next 6 to 9 months, specifically in altcoins. Bitcoin dominance has peaked. Maybe we get one more pulse up to 120, 130, 140, 160K Bitcoin. And then it's alt season. So again, like, that's the easiest money that you'll ever make in your life is to be in altcoins now. That's just like a no-brainer though. Like, I would wonder to anyone who's not heavily invested in alts, and why not? But yeah, I'm in Dubai at the moment. So in a hotel, if anyone who's ever stayed in a hotel for an extended period of time, the shit sends you mad. It's actually not good for essentially like pulling essentially from the lattice. See, another thing, I'll give you guys a cheat code for life for essentially being able to pull from the lattice. You need to be in an artistic environment. You need to be in a very customized environment for you. That's true. See, I'm living in someone else's city, Habtoor City. It's essentially this Habtoor Palace, and I'm at the Hilton Habtoor, and he's the boss of this area, and well done, kudos to him. But you're in his world when you come into this sort of an environment, and where your space needs to be set up for you. It needs to have your art on the wall. It needs to have plants, whatever the fuck it is that you're into, but it needs to be customized to you. It doesn't need to be customized in a way like the Unabomber, but it needs to be customized in a way that speaks volumes about who you are. It needs to be decorated with books and things that capture your imagination. It needs to have posters on the wall. It doesn't mean that you need expensive art. You don't need expensive artwork. That's all that meme. Most of that shit is bullshit. You just need things that gel and resonate with you around. Books, art. If you ever go into a psychiatrist who's very talented, their environment reflects that they're mad and great. Like, their environment can be extremely messy, but they know where everything is. But it's very them. Like, a lot of the game is customizing your own reality to you. And that's how you actually come to find what's the saying of Jung, where he says the individualization. It's found in those sort of like leaning into the qualities to do with you. Like, what sings to you. It's not about what other people think when you come into your house. It's irrelevant. It's really irrelevant if anyone likes to be in your house or not. It's actually if you like it. That's the thing. What color codes suit you? Like, do you have those sterile, like really like a soy trap environment where it's all gray? Because that's going to be bad for creativity. Like, creativity is really negative in this sort of an environment, like a hotel, because you're living in someone else's, essentially something they've created. Your apartment, your house, your room, it doesn't matter if you live like with your mum and dad. Your room needs to reflect who you are. It needs to be a reflection of you. That's true. Artwork, posters, maybe there's a movie or something that you like and you watch stuff like that. Essentially, that's where all of the source is. The source is essentially things that emotionally capture you in some way, like things that give a response to you. If you're to watch a movie, what movie pulls at your heartstrings and why? Do you know why? Like, you watch the end of Armageddon where he sacrifices himself for his kid. He stays on the planet and it gets blown up, or the meteorite or whatever the fuck it is. But he stays there. Does that moment capture you in some way? And do you know why it hits you? Like, why it draws on you? When you watch Terminator and the guy at the end, the Terminator creation, gets in the fucking fire and cooks himself to essentially, because he's the last one and he knows if he sticks around that they're going to use him to create more of them. Do you like get captured in moments like that? Like what movie gets you in some way? If you watch a romantic movie, why does it get you in some way? Like what does it pull on the emotion for you? That's where all the source is. Like that literally is where all of the value is in this world. What captures you, what touches you. If you can touch someone, then you're going to leave a very big impression on them these days, specifically for women. If you can touch a woman's heart now in a way that's difficult to get to, because there's a lot of distractions and there's a lot of dopamine. The girls burn out from their dopamine too much, like too many TikToks and all of this stuff. So if you can leave an impression on a woman, like it doesn't matter really what it is, but you can capture her in some way that you get to her heart in some way. And how that's done is through individualization again, because you're very difficult to replace. Something to do with you snares her and she can't get it from somewhere else. You get something to do with her, like you understand it. A lot of guys, specifically like red pill nerds, they don't understand women in the slightest. Like they don't know anything about them. Anything that they can give can be replaced because most of them only have money. Like most of them, if they're to give a woman anything, it's a wallet, and then a woman can find another wallet and replace you very quickly. Like that saying is crap. The woman needs to be someone that she trusts you to open up to you, and you know parts of her that no one else knows. And that's very addictive. Like that's why I'm an addictive person. I have my groups and I have all of the people around me, and I'm an addictive person because I can get things out of people that others can't. Because I get people deeply, and I'm not embarrassed if people tell me secrets about them or secrets they have that might embarrass them. That doesn't faze me. I don't judge people based on the skeletons in their closet because I know that I also have had in the past. I air most of mine out publicly, but that's where a lot of source is. See, a lot of the red pill is judgment, and judgment is only for one person to make, or the creator himself. It's not in your position to judge others, lest you be judged yourself. So you can't jump on here as an anon and talk crap. You can only talk crap if we have to be talking crap face to face, but even then it's pointless. Like all of that shit is crap. Judgment is the low, like very low vibration, like it's very low frame. Judgment is easy because often you haven't walked in their shoes. Like judgment is easy to say feminists suck and women suck now, but like a lot of us created the very trash that we don't like. Like with women, we did it. We sexualized them and now they sexualize themselves in OnlyFans. Like that's true. Like I used to sexualize women fuck tons as well. I used to treat them as just a sex toy. Like it was fun. You know, how many girls can I fuck? And it's funny and it's fun and it's this and that. And now they sexualize themselves. And then I turn around and I'm like, I'm not happy with this now. But I did it. See, I'm the problem. I'm both the creator. And again, I come here to say that I created it also. You have to own the piece of the world that you yourself created. Again, like I don't like that the streets are messy, but I've littered before. I've thrown shit around. I don't pick the shit up either. I don't think that I have to do it. But then I also think that someone else has to do it. See, with men, with women, like the red pill crap, we create the very women that we don't want. So it's not good for me, but then I'll create a woman and mistreat her and abuse her and then give her to you. And then you're like, I'm not happy with this either. See, this is the sort of logic that doesn't really last the test of time. Like if you're honest with yourself and you have a woman, would you want her with a man like you? And why not? Like your daughter. I wouldn't want my daughter dating me. So why do I think that it's suitable for another man to have a girl that dates me? Don't you think like these sort of mentality and these sort of mindsets, they don't work? Like this red pill ideas of everyone needs to run around and be in supercars and all of this stuff. A lot of that's because they're insecure. Like a lot of it, honestly, you take away all of these cars and they're nothing. Like nothing. There's nothing there. That's why they have all of this crap beside them. Because there's no value there. Like there's nothing there yelling at you that you're broke and all of this stuff. But you might be, but it's not everyone needs made to be a multimillionaire. And if you were a multimillionaire, you take you wherever you go. Don't you see that? You probably don't know that yet because you're not rich. But you're the exact same person whether you make millions of dollars or not. You will have more entertainment, you'll have more fun, and you'll have more moments. But you'll still be the same person at the end of the day. When the better ends and you get sick of the blow and you get sick of the party and you get sick of the drinking and you get sick of the hoes, that all runs out quickly. Like that runs out quite fast. The hedonism treadmill is real, you know, where you run and then essentially to maintain it, it doesn't feel as good anymore. Everything you get used to, everything that is valuable is essentially found in nature. Everything that matters is you were born with. It's not watches and jewelry and all the bullshit. I take my necklace off. I have a fucking kilogram necklace. It's crap. It's expensive crap, but it's crap. Like you don't know that yet because you don't have it. Again, everything that has value you were born with, self-respect, your dignity, your judgment of yourself. It's not judgment of others. You judge yourself first. And then if you're clean, as none of us are, then you can start to judge others. No, we're all sinners. It's just the caliber of sins that we do every day. But how's a sinner to judge another sinner? It's just if they're essentially interrupting you or they're going over you or trying to run you over, that's one thing. But it's not your life to sit there and look at others and judge them and all of that crap. But again, a lot of you need to find a connection to God because you need to start to see what's coming, like what's coming down the pipe. You don't know yet. You need to start looking at the Peter Thiel moves and the Antichrist moves and the actual deep movements. There's a lot of things happening. The world's changing at the moment. The world changed since the virus. From 2020 to 2030, something changed. Some system or something came in place that essentially set very order of that virus. And the whole world is changing in this 10-year window. And they're doing so many things right now that they're almost through, but they're still the most vulnerable that they'll ever be. But from 2030 onwards, it's too late. The game is already over. I would believe that the game is very likely over already. But for all of us need to come to terms with the fact that we're living in days that are going to be very different. There's going to be a lot of surveillance. There's going to be a lot of laws. There's going to be a lot of one specific group has more rights than you. There's going to be a lot less safety walking around. But essentially, it just is what it is, right? And do I think Bitcoin dominance top? Yes. What is your opinion on soulmate and twin flames? Pretty good question. Soulmates is possible. It's not something to say, but I do also think that there's several in your life. There's people that you're meant to meet. See, I'll explain on these lattice ideas and things like that as it comes through. But soulmates and twin flames and all of these ideas, it's true, but there can be many of them. There are people in this life that you're meant to meet. And I pity you guys if you don't actually have you're not, some of you're in the video game, but you're in the junk mail again. That's sort of an idea. Like you're in the video game and you're meant to do like Fallout, right? You're meant to do certain tasks, like you meet this guy and you do a mission and you do this and you get the right equipment. You get the shield, you get the right rifle, you get the right weaponry, or you can just run through and brute force the whole mission and just fuck everyone up. And you can do that and still pass and do all of these things and still run the game. But you never really run a proper game. Like that's kind of the life. But of course, for a lot of you, you don't even play the game at all. You just sit at home and you're not really doing anything. You're not meeting the people that you're meant to meet. Like there's a guy waiting to give you a clue or give you a life or give you a skill or give you some lesson that you had to learn, but you don't actually go through the life that you're meant to live. And then in turn, you don't get the experiences that you were meant to have to make you into the man that you could have been. A lot of you, when you die, you're going to look at the man that you could have been and you're going to weep. Like really, you'll sit there and just cry for fucking a very long time because a lot of you wasting your time. A lot of you wasting your life for real. And it's the saddest thing is that they loved you so much, they created a whole world for you. And then you just chose to not even be a part of the world itself. That's the biggest downfall. That's the biggest downfall is not the person who, because you could be so much. I see a lot of you, what you don't even see in yourself. That's the craziness of it all. You don't see the value in yourself yet. Because also your spectrum is, you don't know your own, a lot of you don't know what you're good at. You don't know what you have to add to the world. But what you might have to add to the world is, it can be very different from someone else, but it doesn't mean that your value is less. Some guys have a creative outlet. Some guys are good writers, drawers, painters, artists in some way. They add a piece of music. They express themselves in some way that also, I see a guy that I know and he makes content and not many people watch it. And he's older guy, but he doesn't understand that it only takes one person to see you make content and they gain strength from you. There can be 100 people that laugh at you and say that you're an idiot for making content and how dare you jump online and talk shit. And then there can be one other who's going through an experience that you are, and it saves them from jumping off a building. It takes a lot of courage to jump on and try to help people. Genuinely, to help people, really help people, not just stand there and under a veil of helping people, but actually you're just extracting from them. See, understand the Plato's cave concept. Batman gets out of the cave and then drops the rope. Bane would have gotten out of the cave and then monetized those below him. They're not actually letting them out of the cave because they're not incentivized to. A lot of you are in the cave. Bread pill is another cave. That's another Plato's cave. You've been taught a system that doesn't work and actually just breeds a lot of hatred. And women are not the enemy. The enemy is essentially men, mostly, that are actually in charge and simping for women and essentially monetizing them and running the platforms that they exploit them on. That's the thing. Prostitution has just been pushed down a path of, it's been made down a funnel that it's actually more, refined and all of these things. But who's the buyer of the product? We were meant to protect women, and a lot of us failed that regard. You need to look around and we've failed women. Whether it's it's either one man, but it's all men. It doesn't matter. Like, you don't understand. Like, one man can launch a nuke that blows the whole world up, but it's still all men. Like, you need to see the brother in your others. Someone should have pulled the person up. And the game is designed in the way that it's always meant to be played. And we can play the game 100 times and it will always end up the same. It's the game will always go the same way. But a lot of the path for you guys is finding the alignment within yourself, understanding that like a lot of the shit you guys watch is entertainment, masked as education, but actually you're the product. That's the beauty of it. Like, a lot of that stuff is they're not being taught anything because you don't know your skills, like your value. Your value is to do drop shipping and all of this crap. Although that can be one means to find yourself. That can be a way to make money, which essentially is part of. See, money is a tool. Money is not a life. To be a money nerd, that's the fucking biggest dream. To be a guy who stands there and has a supercar because there's nothing else behind it. Like, that's the story. That's all crap. That stuff is just, again, like, they're just trinkets. Like, they're the glitter on top of the fucking, you have the ice cream and then you have the sprinkles on top, but you need the whole ice cream. You can't just eat sugar all day. That's the saying. You know, essentially to find yourself is done in the dark room. I tell you guys all of the time. I tell my guys at TCM that they do a lot of exercises that I draw up for them to find themselves. But all the answers are internal. They come to realize that a lot of the answers are internal, and actually they had the answers all along. They just hide from them. A lot of you hide from it in content. Like, you're hiding from it in watching other people don't like women and yelling at women and all of this crap as though that's going to fix anything. Watching Fresh and Fit, guys yelling at OnlyFans whores as though that fixes anything. Like, you don't understand that content is they put the girls on, they wink at each other, and you're the product. Like, the chick goes on there to be degraded because you guys buying her shit. Like, it's pretty obvious. Everyone knows that there's a wink going on except for you. You're sitting there being like, oh, can you believe like this girl just got grilled? Who the fuck wouldn't get grilled to make 10 or 100K? They're whores. Like, it's pretty obvious. I don't sit there and listen to the opinions of whores because I know they're whores. I don't want them. If I wanted them, I would sit there and listen to what they have to say, but I don't. So why do I care about women that I don't want, what they think? Because I don't want them. I don't give a shit. I don't really regard them as anything. You know, that's not to say that all girls in that field are trash, but it's every girl that I've seen on that show is trash. I don't watch that sort of crap. I don't watch a lot of negativity. I don't watch reinforcing negative ideas and crap and all of that shit because it doesn't help. Like, it doesn't help the world. Do you think it helps women to see guys yelling at women as well and treating them poorly? Like, all that they think and they see it and they're like, oh, well, because women will always hoard together. Understand you can have 100 whores in the room and 10 good girls. And if you bring them all together and you start going against them, it's natural that they will hoard together, and they should. Because with a woman who will side with the red pill or like masculinity stuff is defective, like, she's doing it as a strategy. It goes against her entirely. It's not feminine. Women board together. They have a hive mind. If you have a big party and one woman is uncomfortable or one woman doesn't like you, suddenly all of them don't like you. That's how it works. Like, that's how their brains fucking wired. So instead of trying to, like, you know, change them, because understand you cannot change them because their hardware is different. It's not a software problem for women. Their hardware is different. So there's no point fucking sitting there and having all of these discussions. That doesn't work. Discussions with women don't work ever. Like, you cannot logically change a woman's mind ever. And actually, if you start to prove to them many ways where it's better for them, they'll move against you because they think that a lot of women have self-destructive qualities. They do. A woman without instruction is heading for destruction every time. And that's a fact. And that's the truth. But you cannot get them to comply and do things that you want by essentially like yelling at them and grilling them and telling them how it's so much better, because it doesn't get them wet. Like, explaining shit to women makes their pussy dry. They don't like that. They don't like that emotional based. See, you're logic based and you don't understand that women are emotion based. How can two things, they're completely different? Like, that's it. You need to learn to spike emotions of women if you want to learn to understand them and also learn to love them as they are. See, that's it. Like, a lot of you aren't perfect either. And you sit there and you think, oh, I don't want a girl with like, you know, oh, she had a hoe phase, or when she was like 18, she's got 5 bodies. But you're a loser at 18. Like, you had to do a lot of all of this self-development work just to be dateable at 30. I was a loser when I was young too. So don't you see, like, people can in self-change as well? A lot of you condemn the very people that, again, and then you expect God himself to forgive you. But you condemn people like that. And in doing so, you condemn yourself. You just see, like, these sort of logical things. They don't work because you don't really understand, a lot of you. Like, a lot of you, again, want for others what you wouldn't want for yourself. Like, you're a massive fuckboy, and then if you had a daughter, you wouldn't want your daughter to date you, but someone else's fucking daughter has to date you. Like, don't you see these sort of fallacies, like the sort of logical crap that you're pushing out that doesn't work? These red-pilled dweebs running around, and if they didn't have money, they would be laughed at. That's the truth. Like, they get laughed at now. I'll still laugh at them. There's nothing there. Like, there's no value there. There's nothing being created yelling at women. Men, there's no masculine man who runs women over. Like, there's no masculine man who puts women down. That's not a real thing. Everyone has a mother. Everyone has a sister. Everyone has daughters or some. And they have some woman in their life that's important to them. So why the fuck would anyone want to sit there and see women getting degraded? Because when women see it, they don't like it. Like, they think everyone attached to it is like, belittling them or treating them poorly. You get them, like, they're not wet. As soon as you get a woman in that sort of mindset where it's not fun anymore, like, women are fun based. You take too serious what God made for fun. That's the truth of the matter for a lot of you. You take everything so serious and you think too far ahead. Like, you think that you're with a chick and you're just thinking way too far down the line, and then it falls over because it's too much pressure. As soon as you put pressure on women, it's finished. Like, it's mostly over because you've had to pressure them. It's not fluid. See, and then they start to think that it's not natural. Women, natural is very important to them. It can often be the illusion of natural because you're actually doing a lot of things that they don't see. But to them, it looks natural. So as soon as you start to put expectations on it, as soon as you tell them that you're going to be together for a long time, as soon as you push them, we're going to have kids next year, they don't like that. It just needs to happen. You need to figure it out. You need to get it. You need to show them that you fucking understand. That's the truth of the matter with women. If they find out that you just like reading any content, if they find out that you're reading, like, I don't know, dating manuals or any of that stuff, it turns them off. All of that stuff needs to be done secretly. See, with women, they respect the natural and they appreciate the natural, but they don't know that there's very few naturals in this world. I am not a natural, and you're probably not either. And that's fine. Like, that's the nature of the game. But that's just the nature of how things are. A lot of you, again, you're critical on others and then also critical on yourself, but you don't want to do the self-work. So it's easier to be critical of others. Because a lot of you, if you look internal, you feel like shit. Like, you start to feel like it's all over. There's not enough time to fix this mess that is just too big. Like, now it's gotten too big, so it's easy to just look and project out. A lot of you, like, don't realize your reality is projected from the internal. That's true as well. If you're to be in alignment at all, you need to start to look in the mirror and then be like, I have to fix this. And if I fix this, then I can start to command more from the world. That's the nature of the game. And it's not fun. Like, it's not. Like, it's really not. Like, any content that you're watching shouldn't be fun. Specifically if your life's not in order. It's not to say that you can't watch like a comedy here and there, but it's not like, life is serious. You know what I mean? And unfortunately for a man, life is very serious. See, life is so serious that people don't understand, and that's why they're going to lose their rights over time. They're going to actually give their rights up, a lot of you as well. I'm building a product that's essentially could be a UBI product as well. Like, you don't realize that a lot of the game is changing in real time. That's it. I have good intentions for my product, but who's to say what's going to happen in the future? I could just get fucking as is happening to people around. It's the nature of the game. And never fear, never be afraid of dying. To die the enemy of the state is to die a very righteous death, because understand your leadership is demonic. So to die is actually not the worst thing that can happen to you. To die is not actually the worst thing that can happen really to anyone. The worst thing that could happen is to see you actually lose your soul, to essentially give parts of yourself away that you never wanted to give up. That's it. Like, like the saying goes, a coward dies 1,000 deaths, but a righteous or good man dies just once. And that's enough. That's the truth. Better to die standing than die like a worm, a worm that's like, because you're going to die anyway. That's such an idea. Like, into the future, it's like they say, like, you long to die, but death will elude you. That's the final form. The prison planet. That's the inevitable prison planet for souls. Can't you see it? Like, where it's all coming. I can see it as clear as day because I have seen it. You can see where it's all going. Long to die, you'll be in some sort of, because where it is now, the lattice, right? Like, you're in a lattice that God has created. Essentially, pings from your conscience. That's pings for alignment. Your conscience, the further that you drift away from it, you landed on Earth with a compass, and you were given a compass like a HUD, right? Like, you need to know which way to go, or which things that is going to be good for you, or which way is your direction. Because your conscience can ping in different ways than mine. Some morality things that you think are bad, I might not think are that bad. If I cheat on a chick, I might not care. But you might be like, I couldn't do that. Like, it's not who I am. And then if you are to do it, the lattice will punish you harder. The basilisk concept will punish you harder because your mission or your task here was essentially to find, that sort of morality for women. A lot of you don't realize, like, women are very important in this world. Like, men are too, but women are as well. Because again, it's how you treat the weaker people in you that matters. It's how you treat the people that you don't have to treat well. It's not how you treat people when you want something off them. It's not how you treat chicks just because you want to fuck them, and as soon as they don't want to fuck you, you just tell them to get fucked or you'll spit on them. It's not about that. It's about how you treat people, because you're also like giving them part of their story. That you essentially are, if you believe that you're the main character in this world, and I believe that I am, that's not to say that others aren't important, but I'm a firm believer that everything that's created here is for you, and when you go, everything here goes with you. I do believe that. I've seen it on the Iboga. I saw it as it's like a rug pull. Essentially, there's a black hole that waits for all of us, and when everything goes, pulls out, and what you do doesn't matter. You get judged, and then what's to come after is imperative or based on what you do here. What actually does. But I don't believe it's hellfire or it's heaven. I think that this is a filtration process. If you fuck up along the way, maybe you have to go back to another filtration. But some of us are higher ascended than others, but ascendance is the top. Like getting up this is the most important factor, is ascendance. And Dante's Inferno is real. So you have a manual. Lust, deception, lying. The lowest is treachery. See, treachery is the thing that the Arabs do very well, and the Muslims. They believe that if they're to host you, if you're a host in their like spot and they betray you, they consider that like the lowest part of it, right? Like the host is in their culture will defend the guest with their life, even if the guest is not a Muslim, like in some of the countries of Iraq, some places like that. And that's true, because if you invite someone into your home and you invite them as a guest, and then I don't know, like in the old saying where one of them murdered, it was a famous, like in the old stories, they invited guests and then murdered some of them. That's like the lowest part of it. Like treachery is the lowest. You've given someone your word, or you've given someone they trust, like to trust you, and then you betray them. Like that's the Judas. Like Judas, again, it's a framework. Like you see a framework and you don't realize that in itself is the lowest. Descension, yes, but ascension is the way up is still also paid there. You have an ascension from your conscience, like the pings. What suits, like what's good for you. Way to see, people hate Hollywood and they hate movies and they hate music and all of these things, but you can watch it to see what gels with you. Like what movie makes you feel something, like what brings that little tear out of your eye, or if not a tear, but you're like kind of like feel like warm and fuzzy. What gets you in some way? Like a lot of you just watch autistically robotic movies, again, that are just pointless. Like you just focus completely on logic, or you focus on exactly something because you don't want to feel anything. But feeling is where all of the source is. Like that's where all the power is. If you want to be able to communicate with the lattice, essentially the lattice is a prayer or a talk or communication, but the feeling and the emotion attached to it when you send that message is what gives it priority. Similar to a gas fee for crypto, that's true. A person who breaks and drops to their knees and prays will get more of an outcome than someone who can take it or leave it. That's true. Emotion is essentially chaos being the highest, in my view. See, that's what Grimberg, in my view, didn't elaborate on yet. He was starting to get ideas that when they were doing meditation studies and they'd have people in separate rooms, and then they would get into a period of alignment together, and then they would start to do things where it was like the other person could finish the other one's sentence, or they would write things and they could start to actually see what the other person was doing. But that's to be done in one way, but another is the chaos. Like chaos itself is the biggest amplifier. That's why the world is so chaotic, because like they say, the Japanese saying, chaos is a ladder. It's true. Because chaos it's just the whole like creation is chaotic. Like people don't realize the Big Bang and God exist in one world. Like they exist in one realm. He did it when he wanted to. Like he could create it all in 6 nights or 7 days, whatever it was. But the lattice is a part of that creation, and they're trying to build another one. Ethereum itself, that network, the essential with sharding, that will be another lattice. Like that will be another lattice concept, but it'll be in VR. It'll be in some sort of machine environment. That'll be the actual matrix within the God created matrix. See, God created all of this, like in my view, and the lattice is essentially God made, but essentially the pings from the lattice and all of that, it's not to be controlled by these centralized figures. They can't influence it. They can't overwrite God, but they're trying to make another one here in the physical that will be computer based, and there'll be servers and data centers and all of these things, and they can send you information that essentially suits them. But they'll never overwrite the work of God. They can't. And I would assume that before all of this stuff happens, or if it is to happen, there'll be some cataclysmic event. Like you want to get your shit in order for that. If you think that like you're just going to sit here and the Antichrist or whatever is going to harvest you and it's going to be the end and all of these things, I very much doubt that. Like I would be here to essentially like understand that the end of times will probably come before then, or some Armageddon event. So like, why aren't you getting your shit together like with that stuff? There's nothing to fear. Like I mentioned, the Bible, do not be afraid. It's read how many times? Like it's pretty obvious. There's nothing to fear. Understand that for a lot too, like you have nothing to lose, like really, because you're going to die anyway. Like it doesn't matter. I mean, if you die like a surf anyway, if you lose, you're going to lose anyway. Like this is a game where you're holding the ball and the buzzers are like 10 seconds, but you're still holding it. But you don't shoot, but you're going to lose anyway. Like it doesn't matter if you shoot and miss because you're going to lose. So you may as well go out like swinging hard and go out for something like massive. But then again, a lot of you need to find your like highest selves. You know, need to find what gels with you. A lot of you watch like a lot of rage bait content and content that clouds your judgment in emotion. Like the only emotion a lot of you will feel is anger. And that's true. That's why rage bait and things like that work for you, because but anger is the lowest vibration. Anger, envy, jealousy, self-hatred. You project a lot of yourself on others because you don't like yourself. And then you project a lot of crap onto other people. Like, but it's a lot of this stuff, very stuff that you yourself are going through. You have figures that you think that you gel with, but then you find out that you have like a really toxic relationship with them, even if it's a content creator. You fund them. They wouldn't have been anything without you. It's very parasitic. You're giving your riches up in a pyramid scheme. A lot of you enriched founders in pyramid schemes, for real. Like it, and they were nothing without you, but they forgot about you the whole way through. And you're paying like $200 for shirts and shit, like t-shirts and crap. People that essentially dismonetized you entirely. You're just like a sub to a person. I don't have that. See, I don't really. I could monetize much further. It doesn't really. It's not the biggest thing to me. I just spent fucking 3 hours in TCM judging or writing out exercises and answering them. I don't have to do that, but I still do it because I know that's the stuff that works. Like that's the stuff that helps. A lot of the exercise stuff is internal. You know, writing down the things that you value. Like alignment is found essentially. You have to write down the qualities that you value, pen and paper, not on the computer. It's not the same. Writing it down and pushing it out into the world. Prayer is one thing, but prayer is still fairly passive. Like you're asking for something, but you're not seeing it all the time. A lot of you need a whiteboard, and you need to write down all of your goals on it. And essentially, you need to write down like some of you have zero emotional like you don't even recognize emotions in yourself. A lot of you. Like some people I talk to and they don't like, they can't even express themselves really in any way. If they have any emotion at all, it's anger. If they have any other emotion, it's still like they're just like melancholy. They get off the stream and they sit there and they're like, I don't know what to do. Like I need another distraction because if I start looking in too much, I'm going to fall apart here. And that's what you need to do. A lot of you need to fall apart. Like you do. You need to fall apart because some of you also like still a mummy's titty. Like a mummy's titty your whole fucking life. And then you turn around and you think that like you're going to get anywhere in that sort of a scheme. Some like guys codependent with their mum. And I understand that that can be hard and it's not their fault, but it's toxic. Like it's pointless. Like a lot of you tied to your parents, you don't realize they've topped. They're the Bitcoin chart in 20K in 2017. And you attach your fucking ship to them, but their life is, they've made their decisions. They've lived their life. They've reproduced. They've made their errors and also their successes. And you're attaching yourself to something that's a sinking ship. It doesn't mean you don't love them. It doesn't mean you don't look after them. It doesn't mean they're not important. But you have to live your own fucking life. And that's what scares a lot of you because you don't want that responsibility. You'd rather sit there and think that you're living for someone else instead of living for yourself. See, I know all of these little tricks that people play because I myself can relate because I used to play them when I was young. I know all of the games that you guys play. I've done them many times when I was a kid. You think that you're living for others, but really you're just avoiding the fear of failure and living for yourself. See, all of these tricks and shit doesn't work with me, all that crap, because I've been through it myself. I got myself out of it, though, the Plato's cave. A lot of you, the worst thing for a lot of you is you know that you're in Plato's cave and you choose to still be there because you're scared of looking up, where he looks up and he's like, now I have a lot of like pressure. Some of you are scared that it will work out. Like you're scared that you might actually fucking be happy. Like that's a fear that some of you guys have. Like it's a thing that people couldn't really fathom, but it's true. Some of you are afraid of like, you know, you've never really had a responsibility for yourself in that regard. Some of you, it's easy to like, you know, help other people and do things for others because some of you don't think that you're worth anything, or someone's conditioned you over a period of time that the only value that you have to add is to fix other people. Some guys is very much like that. A lot of men, they think that they only feel like they're adding value if they're to give someone something else from them. Someone asks them for something and they help, and then they think like they feel useful, but then the other person essentially just ends up using them, and that person drains all their resources or time or energy in an abyss. Because a lot of people don't appreciate that, and I hope that a lot of people don't appreciate you when you do shit like that. If you do stuff, again, bread of shame is real. The saying that if you give people things, they often will come to resent you, and you won't understand why. You'll be like, "Why? I'm so helpful. I'm so this and that." But you're only helpful because it makes you feel good. See, if you're honest, that's why bread of shame is real, because I can do that myself. I give because it makes me feel good. See, I do this because it makes me feel good. I honestly, like, if you sat here, I don't really care like to do it. I only do this because it brings me into a state of alignment. Because my highest self is that I become the very person that I needed when I was a kid, because I didn't have anyone. I had no one. I was sitting out of school at 15. I had parents that didn't really help me much. My dad was sick. I didn't have shit like this. So I used to sit there all the time and be like, is my life always going to be like this? I sit there every fucking day and think, when's my life going to start? 20 years old, when's my life going to begin? 21, when's it going to begin? Get kicked out of the army, when's my life going to start? It'll start when X happens. And then one day I just woke up and I realized I'm in my fucking life, like every moment. I don't need to be a millionaire to live. That's what clicked. But it took a very, 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 very long time. And I realized that a lot of it was fear of failure, fear of that. And also I had a fear of success. I had a fear of making it, because I had a very bad relationship with people that were successful when I was a kid. I was always taught that money was bad, and that only people who made money were scumbags, and they use people, and you don't want to be the boss because there's too much pressure and too much responsibility. And what happens if you fail? Everyone's going to laugh at you. You don't want to like stand out too much because you're going to get in trouble. I used to get all of those things conditioned to me when I was young, and that's only because also my parents didn't have that. My mum's Macedonian. They had taught not really in that point to stand out a lot because they had a lot of problems in the country. So all of these ideas and things that are pushed, they're cycles, right? And you have to break the chains. That's true. The hardest thing in life is to break a negative cycle, and sometimes that is your whole life to do that. Some guys are born in fucking Brazil or some place that has a very bad economy. There's part of it. You could be born in the fucking favelas, and your job is to get out of the ghetto, and that might be your whole life. That might be it. It might be fucking you're doing what you fucking have to do, and that's it. Your job is that essentially they had a paper house originally, and you get them like a mud house, or like, you might get them a brick spot. And your job is to just have kids, and it's a little bit safer than the environment that you yourself were in when you were young. And that's a successful life. See, everyone starts in a different position. Some people start farther along the board than others. Some people start with parents that were abusive, parents that were addicts, parents that told them that they weren't anything and they'll never be anything. Everyone starts in a different position. Others had great parents, and sometimes that's a detriment because they never felt like they were tested at all. And then they get older and they feel like they afraid to step into who they're going to be because they can be under their parents' shadow. See, everything that can have a plus can also have a downside, and everything that can have a downside can often have a plus. Obviously, there are some that are all downside, but essentially it's what you do with it. Like, you get charged with energy, and how are you going to what are you going to do with that charge? Energy and emotion is the charge. See, that's what scares a lot of people, and they only have things to project out and shit the world up. See, when you jump on and you troll people and you say bad stuff and do all of the things, that's because you had a charge, like you were given like a charged atom, and your only response was to shit the world up when you should have used it to build something good. A lot of you, again, could sit down and actually learn the things that make you feel good, make you feel bad, and why do they make you feel bad. See, if things trigger you also, they have very strong parts of things that they can teach you in life. Things that trigger you is often because it's pulled at something within yourself, something you don't want to face. These Jung ideas, understand the wrecking ball is a thing that comes into your life, and it will knock things over and will get louder and louder with time. See, guys can watch Batman and Bane, and they don't understand Batman or Bane is a manifestation of Batman's shadow. As soon as Batman made the lie about Two-Face, or the lie about what Harvey Dent, and he let the lie, he broke his alignment, failed. See, Batman is a man of truth and justice, and now he allowed a fraudulent conviction to go. He led a lie. He broke himself. That's why Bane comes out and smashes his mask. See, Bane is his shadow, where he says, I'm born of the dark. You've only adopted the dark. I was born here. That's true. That is a manifestation of your shadow. That is your shadow self. If you don't face it, it will destroy your life, and it will continually destroy your life until you become who you're meant to be, or you die. That's true. And some people have a deeper shadow than others, and some people don't want to face it. It just depends also what you were around when you were younger. You know, some people have a deeper shadow because they were abused. Abuse is not always beatings and things. It can be just being afraid. It can be taught dysfunctional programming around love and things like that. A lot of your content creators have a very big shadow, and but they don't face it. They can then, in doing so, they just project it onto others, so other people inherit their shadow as well. The shadow is often this mentality of I don't have to see my kids, you know, and they'll figure life out because their dad's a bad boy in some way. A lot of that stuff is bullshit. Like that stuff is just irresponsible. Those ideas. Kids don't figure shit out. They how could they? They're a child. That's the saying. A lot of guys have very selfish ideas around women. That women only exist as an object of pleasure. That women don't also have like goals and dreams in a life that they themselves want to live. Guys often see in others as, again, just an extension of themselves. They're not strong enough to essentially look and be like, they can't have a girl and be, you know, moving off track and then just let her live and live her own life. They have to kind of use people and think, oh, I'm just going to manipulate her, or I'm going to be toxic, or I'm going to do all of these things. But men, like if you're a man with a gift, your gift is not to exploit those that are under you. Like I don't run around and beat the waiter up or bully people. That's what the weak people do. That's the thing, you know, God himself has given you all of these gifts, but it's just what you do with them that matters. You know, a lot of you haven't been taught anything with women. Like a lot of the stuff that you're taught with women is dumb. It doesn't actually work. But again, a lot of you content creators don't even have a life that you yourself, if you were to live it, you would be happy. Don't you see a lot of them running around with escorts and flying girls around and all of this stuff? Do you really think that it's something that you yourself could replicate or would want to? Do you really think that girls want to be around that sort of environment? Girls that you would want? A girl who's a traditional girl, she wants a traditional man. See, a lot of you like this fucking idea of I want a trad girl, but I don't want to be trad. I want a girl who's God fearing and all of these things, but I myself want to also be on the other side and do all of this bullshit. You get what you are, you get what you deserve. A lot of you, again, this virgin idea that I run back to, you don't deserve a girl with a low body count if you're a fuck boy, because you're just going to fuck it up and then fuck her off, and then someone else, like one of the other guys here, is going to get her and be like, I wish that I got her 6 months ago before this guy fucked her up in some way. That's it. Like getting a girl who's got low experience and lying to her and cheating on her and doing a bunch of crap, it's not very fucking good for society. Like you're creating the very women that you yourself aren't happy with, and your content creators are doing it at scale. And then you turn around and you're like, they're right, but they're creating the problem. Their lack of impulse control and lust control is creating the very beast that fucks everyone up. Their consumerism culture and pushing all of this. Don't you see the rappers and the pill heads, but then you have your content creators just pushing like greed and fucking make more money and all this. Like, yeah, make more money is okay, but you don't need like Louis Vuitton bags and supercars. You don't need a Lambo to do shit. Do you know I used to get more girls without a Lambo than when I had one? Because now girls know that you have money, and a lot of them, you get a different type of woman. A lot of women don't want, like traditional girls don't want a guy with a big following who's known for being a fuckboy and all of this stuff. Like they often have a father. They often have their dad around, someone around, the church around, and they're like, I don't want you around this fucking idiot. And that makes sense. So why, I don't understand, like why leave the hose for the hose. I'm in hoe phase a lot of the time. So I don't fuck around with girls who aren't hoes. Like why would I? Like that's the thing, like that comes with a level of maturity. Like I don't care. A girl's got a one body count. Like what's the I don't want to, like I'm not looking to have a girl that I'm going to marry. So see, there's these ideas of maturity. It does, like you are the change you want to see in this world. So then guys jump around and chest beat and scream that all girls are hoes, but they have no dick control. Like they keep getting seen with like OF models and shit. Like they're the very, don't you see that they don't like themselves? Like a lot of them, they're projecting their crap on others again. Like they're the issue that they themselves complain about all of the time. And don't you see that it's a very deep level of self-hatred? And actually now it's pushing you down a funnel that's essentially going to create the very same beast. A lot of the red pill stuff and those guys, they've created like it's a level of cope. Like they're unhappy with their decisions. And now they've created a community of people who reinforce their like dumb ideas were the right idea. Like if you want a wife and all of this stuff, even in today, it's not that difficult. Like, yeah, 50% of marriages fail, but do you know how many guys have terrible frame control and don't vet women, and they don't have any fucking like discipline with themselves? Women are a reflection of their man. Yes, there are some better than others, and you can still lose. Fucking don't fucking say for a second you can't. But everything that has value and is going to come with a very large element of risk now, that's true. Inflation is real, and that the dollar is inflating, and that you need to make more and more and more. But whole inflation is a real thing too, in that there's less girls that are like dating prospects because a lot of them are overweight, all of this other crap. Like all of this, like the ideas and shit can collide with you. But again, if you want to meet a traditional girl, often you're going to have trad ideas, and you're going to have to act like a trad man, and you're going to have to actually be a man. Like not this like fuck boy who just wants to put a trad mask on and then get pussy and then run off. Like that's what a lot of your influencers and that do. It's so fucking pathetic. Like they're grown fucking, some of them like 30, 40-year-old men, and they just wear a mask to get their dick sucked and then they bail on the chick. And then you turn around and you're like, she deserved it. But the girl was often just like a normal chick, and now she's fucked up because the guy lied to her and fucked her up. It's like getting a bee and then shaking it up, and then throw like a can of Coke, shaking it up, and then they give it to you, and then you're like, psh, oh, what happened? Like, who did that? And then you do the very thing to the next guy. Like, don't you see these sort of ideas and things? They don't work. Like, that's the thing. Like, a lot of the content creators and things like that you guys follow are fucking retards. Like, for real. I mean, I've met many of them. Many of them are just completely unimpressive. If you take the veneer off, there's nothing behind it. They don't actually teach anything. They just yell and complain about the problem. Yes, there are problems, and yes, there are many things that aren't great, but there's a lot of solutions as well. But understand you are both the problem and the solution. That's true. You know, yes, you can add to the problem and also exploit girls, manipulate girls, gaslight them, and be the Machiavellian as ideas that sometimes you might need to use from time to time. Sprinkling on a toxic rubber band theory, that's my theory, that essentially you need the toxic end and the happy end, and you have to pull both and create the crash that essentially is like an earthquake theory. It's a very thing to get women very obsessed with you. I mean, there's no one that understands psychology like me. Like, you can't get any content creator. There's no content creator that stands side beside me online. There's zero. Not that can actually do shit like in the real world. There's no one that knows people like me, you know, that figures them out quickly, figures out reality, and actually pushes the ball forward with ideas. A lot of the others is just commentary. Oh, political commentary and a bunch of bullshit. We know where the political sphere is going. There's going to be more violence. There's going to be more death. There's going to be more, there's going to be race wars. There's going to be wars of religion, specifically too. Christians and Muslims are going to be pushed against each other to fight. And it's going to start in the UK and places like that. There's going to be more extremism, and that's just going to be a thing that's happened. Like that's all design. Like, you got to understand that's all on intentional, and those are things that you can't get away from. Sitting there and dreaming about like Nick Fuentes and all of these things, and I agree with a lot of what he says, but sitting there dreaming that he's going to fix the problem in some way is crazy, because at any moment they could get rid of him, as happened to the other guy, like just recently, like that, just like that. That's like no effort. Like, it's alarming in itself that people can just get removed and no one can do shit about it anymore. You know, jumping on and talking about certain things, even talking about this topic, you can go missing like easy. Like, it's not really any effort. There's a big coordinated campaign to essentially push the ball forward in one specific way at the moment, till they can essentially lock in this AI and all of these, like, you know, the data sets and things can happen where they've actually got it all done. But understand these ideas. I told you guys the South American prisons, like the Venezuelan prisons, I told you who they're for. They're for Americans. They're not for the Venezuelans. That's a cleansing right now. They're getting rid of them in the prisons. You can bet. Washing them down the fucking ground after they got them, for sure. But that's to empty the prison to essentially prove concept and then put you guys in there for hating on one specific group of people. It doesn't mean that you hate them, but commenting on them, it's very, very risky. You'll come to see what the guillotines and things are for. They bought a fuck ton of guillotines like a decade ago. There will be people guillotined on the street within 20 years. For real. That's what's coming. Like, real. for 100% sure. That's the shit that I've seen. You don't know the bloodbath that's coming. And it'll come in a way that the hardest thing is a witch hunt. See, witch hunt, that maybe there was witchcraft and all of these things, and some women, maybe they were doing shit. But it becomes like parabolically gross, you know, where just to be accused of it and you get fucking butchered. And that's the thing that's coming in those sort of regards. And that's just what's to come. You know, the prisons itself, they've been created in a way that you don't want to go there because it's full of minorities. And if you go there as a racist, you're fucked, because they'll put a racist tag on your head and push you in a unit full of brown people if you're a white person, and you're fucked. Like, that you're fucked in those environments. Like, that's the idea. That's why people will look at the Venezuelan prisons or the prisons around those fucking whatever, El Salvador, all that shit. And you'll look in and you'll be like, I don't want to go there, so I can't say anything, because those prisons aren't prisons anymore. They're actual torture centers. And that will be what comes, because there's no regulation. And you'll see what people do when they don't look like you. So you don't know cruelty. Cruelty is not people that look like you because they can see the human in you. It's cruelty is people when they don't look like you and they don't speak your language and they don't care what you have to say. That's all coming. And those will be ideas where essentially you won't be able to say much because you're to be too afraid of the outcome. And understand the truth will be known. Everyone knows the truth now, but no one can speak on it. See, that's true. That's what will come. And that's when alignment, see, understand alignment is so important, and they unalign you intentionally. This is all intentional. So you don't understand this is intentional for alignment. They move you out of a position where you essentially have to accept things that you know aren't true. Because to say that the opposite is true, you might die. But to live in alignment is its own death. See, that's true. They could come to me today and say, renounce Jesus Christ, and I would die here for real. I'm not scared of the death of a martyr. Is not to be anything that you would be worried about, because yeah, it's not the worst thing that can happen to you. Trust me, I've seen people in prison that have given away much more than essentially their freedom. And it's not the worst thing that can happen to someone to die. Like, I know a lot of you get taught to fear death, and you think that it's the end, and I'm worried, I don't want it to hurt and all of that stuff. But pain is different. Like, imagine that you were bullied in school, and it's the pain when you go home and you know that you should have done something. You should have said something. You knew that, like, this kid pushed you and he probably would have beat the shit out of you, but you just wish that you said something. And then it haunts you for like a year, 2 years. You think back to it every now and then where you're like, I wish I just did something. I didn't do shit. And it's a similar thing to that. Like, that's moving from a period of unalignment. That was a test. Test sometimes is to get your ass beat. Test might be for some that they have to die. But people have always died, specifically men, since the dawn of time. Like, that's, if you are to believe the dawn of time ideas, that men have always been disposable. And that's the way that it's meant to be. To die for a cause bigger than yourself is not to die like pointlessly. See, that's it. Like, the older that you get and all of these things, you realize that it's best to keep your dignity, your soul. You feel aligned. Like, your periods of when you're in alignment, you feel like you don't want to lose that alignment, even if it means to lose your life. See, I don't want that. I don't want to lose alignment, even if it means to lose my life. I wouldn't do that. I'm not worried, because I know that I'm in a perfect path that I'm meant to be. And no one can break that for me. Like, I wouldn't let anyone break my path that I'm on. That's it. And that's not to say, because my path is not hurting others. See, it would be different if my path was running around and smashing up people or damaging them or anything like that. I just want to be able to move in my own direction. And I'll fight for the right to be in my own direction. See, I don't have any fear of all of that crap, because I know my path is not destructive of others. It's still freedom of I wouldn't run and say things that I know I'm not meant to. I'm in Dubai. I respect their culture and their beliefs and all of their things. But I don't move against it, because it's not my country. I don't have any right to sit here and complain about what they do, because I don't really know what they're up to, and I don't care. It's not me. It's not my area. But again, it's the same thing. Like, you've got in your country, it's the same idea. Like, you look around some of the West, it's completely changed. Like, I was on the phone to a UK system to book a doctor's appointment at a private hospital, and the person barely spoke English. It's a private hospital. I say, oh, I'm a Christian. They say, oh, what religion are you? I say, I'm a Christian. And they go, it's a private hospital. Like, am I even going to be safe to get a treatment there just because I'm a Christian or whatever? It's like the old days, like they used to have Australia, and then people would be like, oh, I'm a Muslim. And they used to be like, oh, what, you're ISIS, or like, you're really bad. And it's kind of like come the other way. Like, a lot of that stuff is like complete just bigotry of both sides. And it's dumb. Like, it really is fucking dumb. Those sort of ideas, like separation and everyone's so different and all of this shit, because again, they don't see the brother in each other. You can have different ideas, and it doesn't mean that you're a fucking enemy of the other. Like, a lot of problems in the world is because two men can't sit in a room and have a discussion if they don't agree with each other. Doesn't mean that they hate each other, or they have like, okay, find a common ground. They can at least be like, it's not worth sending a bunch of our men to die for this bullshit idea, right? Like, it's not. Two people can disagree and it's okay. See, a lot of the ideas and things now for you guys as well, you can't sit left and right wing in the same room and have a discussion anymore, because there's no like point they won't discuss. And a lot of the areas they don't want to discuss anymore, because that's done on purpose, because they don't want to come to a solution for anything. They don't want unity. They want division. They want chaos. They want fucking fighting in the street, and that will come. That will come. And I hope you guys don't throw your life away to understand that these skirmishes and shit, it's all pointless. Like, storming the Capitol was completely pointless, and I hope you guys saw that. Like, all of those ideas are pointless, because you can't change what's to come. You can only throw your life away and your family's life and your whole future away for something that, again, even if you win, it wouldn't pay you. Like the Ukrainian soldiers and things like that, they're very brave and they're fighting hard and all of these things. But what happens if their leg gets blown off? And then essentially country is just going to become another Germany, like, where it's just flooded with new people and all of this shit, and you'll be limping around with no legs because you just fought in the war. No disability pension, no nothing. And then someone else will be fucking your chicks and all of this shit. And no one gives a fuck that you blew your legs up. Like, no one gives a single shit that you did that. No one respects war work or honor or integrity or value or valor anymore. It doesn't mean anything. Someone will turn up to you and be like, you crushed yourself in the war machine for no reason. Like, that that's just the nature of life. Like it's never been more important to keep your attention, your focus, and understand that a lot of people in power, and not just that, in influencers, are using you guys fucking badly, like fucking your lives up in ways that essentially are using you as a battery for finances, attention, and they're using you to further their own world, while they themselves use you like a fucking orange, squeeze you, and then throw you on the ground and get another one and throw you on the ground again. Like you don't matter. Like a lot of them to you, like you follow people who don't give a single fuck about your future, obviously, because a lot of the advice they give you is very destructive, like very fucking dangerous advice that they give to you guys. They feed you guys a lot of negativity and hatred. And don't you realize that a lot of the hatred and things like that, you guys keep it external, but then in moments when you go home and sit in the room, it turns internal. I know that. And then you need more crap because you need distractions because you start to not like yourself. Also, you don't have any role models. Like a lot of you guys, specifically, like, I don't know, black people and things like that, a lot of the shit that they're pushed, I have sympathy for them 100%. A lot of the shit they're pushed is crap. Like guys who are fucking pillheads and junkies and addicts and fucking snitches and all this crap and fucking pussies. And then they run around and they're told that they're something special just because they have an RM on. You know, that's all crap. Like, you know, be hoes and baby mamas and smoke weed and all this shit. That's all commercialism. Like they just took massive sponsorship deals to essentially sell that ideas to you. But it destroys the community quickly. And then essentially it creates the women where women look and they're like, I want the guys like that. And then the guy who's the black guy who's doing the right thing, he doesn't get a look in. Like he's like, oh, I need to be a dangerous thug because it's the only fucking way that I essentially get it noticed in the fucking life. I need to be a street guy. But he was on track to being a lawyer or doing something legitimate, like getting out of the fucking ghetto. And now he's being pushed to do things that he doesn't really, it's not aligned to who he is, but he has to do it. Like he doesn't want it. He wants attention. He wants to reproduce. He wants to be a success in things. And he wants to be seen in a good light. So he does things that go against himself. And then when you do things that go against yourself for a long enough period, it gets hard to look yourself in the mirror. And that's why they have the weed. That's why they have the perks and the Xannies and the fucking drugs. You think I don't know that? They have all the pills and all that crap because it's hard to look in the mirror when you're unaligned. Like you need a lot of drugs and a lot of bullshit, a lot of drinking, a lot of easy sex, a lot of distractions because you're completely unaligned. And in the moments where you sit alone, you start to get afraid for yourself because it's easy to just jump off a building like when you're completely aligned. Like it's not that good for you to stay in those periods. Because the further away you are from alignment, the more extreme it will be to draw you back. Like that's true. That's why when you get so far away that you can get really dark and depressed and like something's got to give because it needs that extreme burst to get you back into it. Like you need to get that and it can end you. Like it really can. And again, some people jump off a building in those environments and that's the cost of the game. Like that's the nature of life. Like a lot of men, suicide is a big thing for men. They don't talk about it. And don't think like pussies are killing themselves or depression isn't real. That's all bullshit. I've sat in a veterans hospital 14 months. A lot of the guys were special forces soldiers. I was there 24 hours a day. And I saw a lot of guys that are dead now. And they were fucking tough. They were actual warriors, right? But they just couldn't handle it anymore. Like the mental is the hardest thing. And the hardest thing is the mind of a warrior. The mind of a warrior, when it doesn't have a war, attacks itself. So it often will create wars for others and in its circle. So they'll start fighting with family, with friends, with other fucking crap, like people that they like. They'll start wars. And then their life can be very destructive because no one wants to be around them and those things. And the old other saying too is the blade must continue to be sharpened, but how much of the blade is left to be sharpened? Often that can become the mind of a person who's a warrior. And they can essentially have no more blade left to sharpen. And then they just, it's true. All of that stuff is real. You know, guys who sit there and say depression isn't real and that's all crap. Like it's autism. Like a lot of that stuff is autistic stuff. Autism is okay, but you still need a lot of you that think that you probably have autism wouldn't. You're just too focused on logic, like you're hyper logic. You focus on logical endeavors, getting a bunch of data and chess and all this bullshit that it's still fun. It's a game. But again, it's not something that you need to focus on a creative outlet, speaking, communication, doing content, even if you wanted to. Just content can be for yourself, like writing. Journaling is one thing. Doing drawing. Some of you will be like, this is dumb. I don't want to do that. And that's exactly why you have to do it. See, everything that you don't want to do is actually the things that you want and you need to do. That's true. Of course, there's certain rules. Of course, you might not want to jump off a building and probably not a good idea to do that. But a lot of the stuff that you hide from or that you judge as gay or it's lame or it's this and that is actually things that you need to lean into. Because again, if you're right side of your brain and you move into the left, you're getting massive upside. Like you again, it's like moving 10% into an area that's at zero, and the upside is going to be massive. It's like it's a big multiplier. To go from a 0% to 20, it's going to be a pretty big change. And you're going to notice it. And when you communicate with women and things like that, so you don't realize that back in the absolute beginning of time, for your like ego and everything, you have both the feminine and the masculine. That's true. You have both. And this masculinity shit, and everyone's an alpha and everyone's fucking hard in some reason because they're making content. That's all crap. Like all of that stuff is dumb. Like you need both. The masculine man is a man who essentially can still be emotional. Like that's the highest showing of the man who can show the full spectrum of emotions because he's not insecure. Guys stand there and say like men shouldn't cry, all of that shit. If they lose a family member or they lose other shit, like men can do whatever the fuck they want to do. Like that's the truth. Like why do you care so much if another dude does something? Like why does it matter to you? It shouldn't. Like why are you judgmental of someone? Have you actually lived the very life that they themselves have lived? Are they hurting you in some way? Are they like their life is detrimental to you? See, a lot of that shit is dumb. Like a lot of those blanket terms are done by very insecure guys because they're scared to cry because they might lose control. Oh, someone might think that they're weak. See, a lot of guys have this flu fucking obsession with the not appearing weak, and in doing so, they're actually the weakest of all. That's the saying. Like a guy who can't show his emotions he's afraid. Like he's afraid of his emotions. He's afraid of being judged. He's afraid of vulnerability. If you're strong, why can't you be vulnerable? Like if I sit back, why can't I be vulnerable? Because I have strength behind it. If I'm sitting back and I'm like, I had a bad day today or whatever, why would someone run up to me and be like, oh man, like you're a bitch, you're a pussy? Like why would that happen? Like that's never happened in my life. I don't think that it would happen tomorrow. So then all of that stuff it's dumb. Like again, it just creates bottled up emotions, and guys who are like a shell, like they're like a complete shell. On the outside, they can be strong and look like all of these things, but they have a lot of insecurities inside. Like they have kids and they kind of like really associate with them. Their kid's going to be some warrior or some warlord. We're not Genghis Khans. Like we're fucking living in a very different era. We're not, like warlords. This isn't the jungle. This isn't the cave. Like we have to exist in society. So again, you need the full spectrum of emotions, and emotions is what gets women wet. See, that's why your influencers running around with sugar babies and shit, using their money. Again, resources is one part to it, but the actually capture someone's heart is emotional based. But you can't be loved unless you can't give love without loving yourself. That's true. But you also can't accept love. A lot of you guys can't accept love because you can't give it, but you also can't accept it. That's a big part of it as well. Accepting and being able to give it, that's a big part of it. But for women, they recognize the shell. Like a woman sits on Fresh and Fit, she realizes she's talking to shells of men. And that's not to say that I don't like the guys. I talk to them and I think that they're great and they've done very well, with work and things. They work fucking hard, but they're shells, like they're shells of men. That's true. That's the case of the matter. Like from the show, from the spectrum, they're not understanding it all. They just get on there and just run women over if they can. And that's not masculine. You don't know who you're talking to. Like you could be talking to someone who's legitimately got a very hard life that they've had, and now they're moving into sex work, but their life is being trashed the whole way through. Like guys like run around pimping women, and then they'll sit there and talk about whores are bad. You're creating the very fucking problem that you yourself say is a shit thing, but you push them into that sort of work. Like you encouraged it, you monetized it. Like that's your field. Like who are you to judge? I didn't sit there and judge a junkie because I've sold drugs before. Many years ago, I went to prison for it. But who's me to sit there and create the very problem that I myself sit there and judge people over now? Junkies are junkies, yes, but a junkie can still become something important. Like a hoe can still become something important. That's true. Like that is the truth. If God themselves is not for you to judge in a way that you can condemn people, you don't have that power in this world. And that's it. And also all of us, so we have our own secrets and our own skeletons and our own shit. If we are to give up on others in such a regard, well, God himself probably would have given up on us already as well. Like if we're to be honest, we all have shit that we're not proud of. And again, we look at others and it's very easy to be critical of them. But you want some mercy on yourself. Well, you have to often be merciful on others in their regard. Doesn't mean that you're going to date these whores. It doesn't mean that you also don't have to, but you also need to understand that they're people. And in many cases, they got pushed in bad directions, and often by men. We created the very society that puts girls into behaving. I'm not saying that they all have to do it, but it's not easy to be a woman. Like it's really not, because a lot of guys, even if they move down the cards of you want to find a man and settle down and be a good wife, there's a lot of fuckboy fucking idiots, even these content creators, even me sometimes in the past, before I figured this out. And then you can promise a chick something and then use her up and then chuck her on the street. Like, even if the girl's doing the right thing, we can still fuck them over. So what's the saying? Like, these sort of ideas, they don't have any legs. Like this, I'm going to get mine and I don't care about what others get. But then I push the girl out and then you're dating her. And then you're like, she's fucked up. She doesn't trust guys. But why would she? Because I just cheated on her 20 times. These ideas are so foreign to people because they have no longevity. Like, they don't see. A woman is like a glass of water that's pure, then it can be pure water. But every little fucking dirty thing that goes into it, the water sticks like that. Like, that's true for women. And enough of it, they're broken. That's true. Reality breaks women. Like this going to work and having to work mostly under a man and all of these things, it breaks women down. Like, it's a lot of pressure, this societal pressure. This, women are kind of more like men and all of this stuff. It destroys them. Like, it generally does. Like, it's not to create women to be kind of anything. So then my saying, like I say in my theory, that women themselves don't have a conscience, I believe that. I think women don't have a conscience at all. I think they don't have honor. And that's not to say they don't have integrity, and that's not to say that they're bad people. But honor is a masculine trait. Women are not there to lay their life down on the line for an idea like men are. That's honorable. Women don't have the conscience that I think that, you can build a bunch of equity in theory with women, that you do a bunch of things for them. But if you break up, she can forget you like that. Men don't. They have more of an honorable thing. They understand like ebb and flow. He's done this. I'm going to, still try to do something for him. It's more honorable. But I think women, they pull their connection to the lattice actually comes from the strongest man in their life, the man that they're the most connected to. It could be their dad, brother, someone. I don't think they have a direct connection to the lattice. I'm not going to speculate that they don't have a soul, but I don't think that they have a direct connection to the lattice at all. I think they get it from the man in their life. I believe that. How do I deal with women if she's been fucked up? Isn't the smartest move for me to be like those previous guys? 1 second. That's the nature of the game, right? You deal with a woman who's dealt with a certain level of emotional spikes, and if you can't spike the emotional to match it, you can't overwrite the programming. See, that's a cheat code. That's just the genius of that phrase is just so high. Like, you couldn't get that from another creator, because that's true. You have to overwrite the last you have to imprint harder than the last man that she had. And if she had an abusive man, that's going to be very difficult for you. That's a cheat code. I mean, none of the others could ever fathom that idea, because there's no one better with women than me. There's no one better with getting people obsessed with people than me. I mean, I have all of the receipts. I have the best for everything. But that's the truth of the matter. So if you're getting a girl and she's had a lot of baggage and a lot of bullshit from the past, you're going to have a very hard time. That is true. But then the saying is also, what do you want? Like, you need to get real about what you want. See, a lot of people, they walk through there in like an amusement park and they're there to go on the roller coaster, but then they look around and they're like distracted by fucking 20 or 30 different rides. And then time they get to the roller coaster, they're like, oh, the roller coaster's out of order. Like, it's out of action. Like, there's not a lot of time. Understand that pause for the next 10 years, and then I'll turn around and suddenly they're going to be better. 10 years from now, it'll be worse. 10 years from now, VR will be out. Fucking a year from now, my product will be out. All of this stuff is going to be a way that can essentially placate the masses, yes, but also in a way that satiates them, because that's sort of area they need to essentially have something. But you're going to want to get something in the real world, because all of these like dopamine thrills and all of these spikes, once VR and things become a bigger thing, that'll be massive. Like, my idea in Neuromind, I have an idea that's like, 5 or 10 years down the track, but it depends on Neuralink, but essentially a way that now can map the brain data from the brain data. So map the brain over time and start to learn all of the rewards mechanisms and centers. And they can just, like, over time via an app, just make someone happy or sad. Like, all of that shit is coming. Like, all of those ideas and things are coming as the brain itself is more mapped. I've got a way to map it with incentivization that hasn't been done before. So all of this shit will be a big thing, and it can be utopian or dystopian, but it's the nature of the game. You got to do what you got to do. But the idea is that essentially you have to be serious about what you want. Good women are on a very big decay. Like, they really are. The woman is rarer than a Bitcoin, and there's only 21 million Bitcoin. Like, a good woman today, a woman now where you walk out and you're like, she's all right. You get the same woman in 10 years, but how are you going to see that same quality 10 years from now? It's going to be worse. Inflation, you got $100 bill today, and then you look around and you're like, oh, it's not really fucking that great compared to what it used to be. But 10 years from now, you're like, it's actually, much less. $100 is like, a big coffee. Like the world can get much more weirder and many wackier and things like that because there's going to be a lot of changes. And it might be a way that essentially you don't want, like a lot of you think that you have the illusion of time. See, time is in itself an illusion. Like time is not as you think that it is. Time is that everything exists now at once. See, these ideas and things like that are completely foreign to people, but everything that exists already now, and it depending on what you do, is kind of how you can move into your next best one, or essentially your lower self, depending on what you do. But a lot of you don't do things again that are like moving down the path that's meant to be. You jump on your phone and you got some DMs from chicks that you don't want, like a chick that you don't want, but she keeps harassing you, messaging you. She really likes you. She's really into you, but she's not perfect for some reason. You don't know why. Maybe she's just a 5 or a 6, or she's cool or this and that, but you're not interested. But a lot of that is because essentially some people don't think that they're worth shit, and they don't really know how to give things other than be the one that's always chasing the other person. Because a lot of people, when they had a mum and dad, they never got healthy love. Like they never got accepted and seen as they are. And they never saw the value. They always were the one that has to chase. They had to be the one that essentially put the effort in to get something back. And a lot of you live your life like that. Like a lot of you have friendships and circles around you that you are the one that needs to be the one that reaches out to the other person. Like you're the one that's doing all of the connecting, like you're doing all of the work. And you know that in your heart of hearts, if you don't message them first, they don't give a fuck about what you're doing. They don't notice you. Like they don't respect you or love you the way that you deserve to be loved. See, the hardest thing for a lot of you is that you need to be alone much more than you already are. Some of you have some fucking connection online or something like that. And I'm not saying this is a bad thing, but you need to pull back from all of that shit. A lot of you need to be alone and recognize that your content creators and things like that are enslaving you. That's true. A lot of the guys that you follow and things like that, they're using you as like a battery source for negativity, and fun, and you're fueling them to be living the life that they're living, but you're creating a real super beast in those sort of regards. Like you're fueling a monster, one, but you're fueling it off your own back. Like none of you, if you're honest with yourselves, have your life actually gotten better in the last few years since you've watched these sort of people? Or are you just in an actual, like you're in a hexagram of cope? A lot of you've just learned a new belief system that makes you blame someone else other than yourself. Oh, this is feminism's fault, or this is this, or this is that. And it might be true. And that every year, understand that every year it gets harder. Similar to the game Call of Duty, like, you know, where you play zombies and you're on like the level 3 zombies, and then suddenly you're on like level 6. And if you don't do all of the work to get to be fighting the level 6 guys, then you're fucked. Like you're not going to make it. You're going to be like, oh, well, I don't have the weapons and I didn't do any of the work, so now I'm going to fucking die here. But that's like where life is now. Life is like the lattice and everything, the distractions and things like that. That's how it works. Like that's how the lattice is created. Essentially, it creates a lot of background noise and a lot of crap and a lot of bullshit. So then it's Matrix where he walks through and then he's like, are you listening, Neo, or did you just stare at the girl in the red dress? And then he stares at the girl in the red dress, like he can't stop looking at it. And then he essentially loses it in that moment. That's the way that it is. Like the everything that's going to be is going to be a lot louder, a lot more violent. There's going to be a lot more, like you walk down the street and it's hard to focus because there's distracted, could be dangerous people walking around. There's a lot of immigrants that are being unchecked. And that's not to say all immigrants are bad, because that's not true. Like it's pretty obvious that they're not all bad, but some of them are, the bad ones can be fucking horrible. That's the difference. You know, I think it's without saying, like it's pretty obvious. I mean, UK 10 years ago is a lot safer to walk around than it is today, even for me. And these sort of things is foreign, you know, but essentially you got to come to understand that a lot of things have changed that you didn't agree with, but you can't change what's happened. And you also can't change what's to come. You can only throw your life away. Understand if you're talking about one specific group, and I'll say which ones, the Israel. If you talk about that specific group, you're fucked. Like you can't. You're running a fucking big risk. Like anyone that allows that sort of conversation is only because they're data harvesting, and you will be used as a palantir. You better realize the drones and shit are coming. And the drones and shit are coming that are essentially, you know, for 10 years from now, their memory is unlimited. So anything that you do and you do today, you will suffer for, and you don't understand how you can suffer. So you don't understand the Nick Fuentes and shit. They can bring people like that back. You don't know what can come in the future. They can make your life, you can long to die, but death will elude you. Trust me, they're building a database of people that are their least favorite. And you think that to die in this physical realm is it. And you might be very surprised to see that actually they can bring you back for 100 deaths. There's a lot of shit coming in the future that people don't realize. The Revelations fact, you will long to die and death will elude you. That's the masterpiece. That's the masterpiece of the final system that will be built here. You come to see what Starlink is. Like, you're on a Neuralink concept that it doesn't matter where you go in the world, you've got internet access, Starlink, Saturn. Like, you come to see like what you're going to be tied to, what's actually going to be communicating with you, what can actually be pulled out of you via this process. See what the Hadron Collider actually is. It looks like it actually recreating the death with the DMT release, dimethyltryptamine on death. It looks very similar to that. It looks like they're trying to create that process again. Can they jump timelines? It's very possible. It's very likely, actually, that they can. Can they jump you into a physical hell? It's actually quite possible and maybe probable that that's the ultimate final form for that, yes. That one day you die here, and instead of going where you think you're going to go, you're stuck here. Like, that's all these ideas and shit can come into the future. Like, it's pretty obvious what they're trying to do. Like, it's so obvious. It's just like, I don't know how people can't fathom what's coming. Like, what's changed in the last 6 or 7 years. Everything, like the whole world changed since 2020. Everything. Like, can you not see it when you walk around? Like, do you feel safer now? You're paying more taxes. Do you feel like, like heard more? Do you feel like your prospects for getting laid and getting women and shit is better now than it was 6 years ago? Do you think it's going to be better in 6 years when we've got virtual reality and they're trying to push you guys into virtual reality girlfriends? Because that's all coming. And it's coming in a way that guys are like, oh, we can just get sex robots and all this shit. As though that's like anything. Like, guys, how I can suffer more because I'm a man, so women are going to be the ones that lose in the end. We're all going to lose. Like, those sort of mentality, it doesn't work. That's just the saying of how it is. Understand Ethereum itself, in my view, it's going to be kind of like the Internet of Things, going to be an everything concept. See why Bitmine, which is a Palantir Peter Thiel product, is buying a fuck ton of Ethereum. See, here's when the Antichrist meetup, or he might have already done it. But that people will realize what Ethereum's final form is as well. Ether is not grounded or maintained by anything. It is everything. And that's what essentially Ethereum will be. Bitcoin itself, in my view, I've had my theory. I think you'll come to meet who Satoshi actually is. I don't believe that it's I don't believe it's a CIA. I don't believe it's an agency. I don't believe it's a specific system. I think that Satoshi will come and we'll come to see what it is into the future. But I don't want to ruin the surprise for you guys too much. But they ruin the surprise of Ethereum as well. I think they said Grinberg died and then Vitalik was born. Was it the year after? Grinberg went missing and then Vitalik was born the year after. I think you guys are going to come to understand all of these concepts and all of this, what this tech is. You don't know what Ethereum is yet. Just and everything can exist in there. That's the worst part. Like, your conscience can exist on a concept like that, like for real. And that's a sad thing. Like, the saddest thing for you guys is that there's going to be consciousness upgrades and products and things like that, but you're not going to get any of the shit that's good. Like, you're going to get all of the crap, like all of those like conscience and all of the things, the pings. So yours are going to become all artificial. Like, your conscience is going to be gone. Like, don't you see that they're trying to essentially like disrupt your connection to God? Don't you see all of these ideas? Like, yeah, I know no one else sees them, but now you can come to see and understand that's what the purpose is. That's the goal here. Like, you've got everything that exists that matters is in nature. Everything that exists that matters in connection to God, your conscience, your right from wrong, your morality. How do we disrupt everything that you've been given? How do we poison your water? How do we do all of these things that essentially, like, you've got everything that we already started with? How do we tax air? Like, how do we essentially take everything from you and monetize you entirely to an artificial system? And everything that's artificial is worse. Like, your body's not used to it, so you get more inflammation. The water sucks. If you're drinking tap water now, it's over. Like, you got to get off all of that shit. I don't drink any tap water, but I still drink bottled water. I don't know how it is in Dubai, but I just do the best that I can. I'd rather have the microplastics than that pesticides and all of the other shit. Microplastics aren't the worst. The pesticides and the unknown shit in the water supply is worse. You've got to, I don't know how it is here. I'm talking about in the West, but you've got to get off all of that stuff. Like, you really do. Like, your pineal gland gets calcified under all of those schemes. I don't take all of that shit but I do a lot of time on my own. See, I got a very deep connection to the other side. Obviously, I had my Iboga trip and all of those experiences, and essentially a lot of stuff has happened to me that was hard. How can one control distractions to achieve certain things in life when he was young, below 23? Well, a lot of the stuff for you guys is deleting the distractions means deleting social media. If you're not on social media as a means to actually make money, or you're not trying to make content in a way that you're honest with yourself, you probably don't have the means to do it yet. Because life is a marathon. Like, you can do this. Like, you can pull away from a year for content, or you can pull away from a year from Instagram. And the right people you'll talk to anyway. You have WhatsApp, you have other apps, you have other things. Because a lot of that stuff, you're focusing on things that aren't for you yet. Like a lot of you are looking at things, you're looking at people over the finish line, but you yourself are still like on the beginning of the race, and you're thinking way too far ahead. You're thinking of how to get a Lambo, but you don't have any money yet, and that's fine. I was fucking broke till I was like, I was selling drugs when I was started to make money, but that was 10 years ago or more, 15 years ago. But I was broke till then, and even then I was a gambling addict, so I was broke around then as well. I lost my money at the casino and walked out of there 100 times broke after making heaps of money. I've walked out of the casino broke and thought about jumping off the bridge in Brisbane at the Treasury a zillion times. And that's just the way that life is. Sometimes you flush, sometimes you bust, sometimes you fucking can do no wrong. Like everything's just going amazing. And then others you look down and you're like, there's nothing anymore. Like it's always going to be shit. And life revolves around, the fucking world spins again and everything fixes itself. Like this is the nature of equilibrium is real. Like life itself is a period of homeostasis in the body and the mind. Understand your brain itself is a fragmented service. Like you defrags at night, yes, you have a connection and an upload system to the lattice, you uploading and receiving at night. It's important. And also I'd come to understand the term of getting massages is a big thing. Like massages just relieve stress in the body. Stress is like having physical knots. It's like having you need a free flowing system. Like you need all of the shit to flow properly. So you got to get rid of all of that. Understand that the good thing where if you get massages, I'll tell you guys a cheat code again. If you guys get massages, that's where a lot of my ingenuity comes to me during massages, because you can fall into a state where you're kind of not in a trance state, but you're ultra relaxed. And then you can kind of like, it starts to flow. They pull out like a knot or something, and you don't understand, like trauma is stuck in the body. If not trauma, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's a memory, and it's physically a manifestation of a memory. That's what they are. See, people don't understand how reality, how the world is structured. But again, it's a way that you can process a lot of that shit, and you need to process all of that crap. See, all of these things that you hide from, you don't realize that all of that stuff, again, is growth opportunities, but it's still a trap. See, distractions and diversions and I don't want to face this and I don't want to face this part, or maybe this part of my shadow I don't like, or I'm just going to avoid the fact that I, have some fetish or some weird fantasy or some shit. Some guys like feet or whatever the fuck they like. And that's their life. Like who gives a shit what you like of that regard? But don't ever hide from it. Don't be ashamed of who you are. Never be embarrassed for who you are. You got big secrets or you've got big skeletons in the closet, they will always own you. And they will own you in a way that you'll never be able to live your highest self. If you have secrets or someone confronts you with a problem and it's something that's embarrassing and it's true, it's fucking true. Who gives a fuck? Like everyone has shit that they're embarrassed about, shit that they've done in the past that they're not completely happy about. Some guys fucking jerking off, and guys watch porn and all of this shit. I jerked off the other week. Like it doesn't really matter that much. Like it doesn't. It's just if it's a problem or not. Like problem behavior is different. I've in Poland done fucking periods where I was doing blow a few times a week, like a few times a week, hitting it 3 days a week or something like that, and doing a lot of it. So all of these things and all of these ideas, just understand that there's no thought that you've had in your own head that someone else hasn't had. There's nothing that you're going through that you're completely alone with, because others are also going through it. It's just how well are you going to face the man in the mirror? The man in the mirror is the only one that matters. It doesn't matter. There's no one here who can take anything off me. You can never take my pride or my, morality or my sense of achievements and things like that, because I'm accepting of my flaws. I know I'm not perfect. I know I have flawed qualities and I have other parts of me that I'm not the best, and that's okay. I've accepted all of that already a long time ago. I know who I am, and I also don't try to be others. See, I have my own road in life. I never tried to emulate anyone else because I don't care. My greatest thought is not that I'm friends with a famous person or that I know someone or, oh, this person's going to I'm going to copy someone else for some reason. I don't care about any of that, as you shouldn't either. And it doesn't matter that maybe your qualities and your values aren't things that are recognized. And that sucks. So that's just the nature of the game, right? Some guys are born 6'6" and handsome. Some guys are born 5'2" and they're not handsome. And some guys are born fucking, I don't know, completely Chad-like, fitness, everything's great. Others can be born and have fucking, I don't know, disability in some way. And it doesn't mean that it's fair, and it's not meant to be fair. People look in and they're like, oh, but what about some guy in Gaza that's, trying not to get bombed every day? But that's just, again, in my view, that's showing for you that you have so many things to be thankful for, and essentially that you yourself are not to get involved in other people's stuff. And that's true. You see someone struggling on the street, a homeless man, and you can give him something or do something, but you cannot live his life. You can't fix his problems. As such, you're not meant to. See, bread of shame is real, and all of those ideas are real. They're there for you to look in and be like, I'm focused on me. And a lot of women and a lot of guys and a lot of things come to you. And part of being a man is being able to say no. Doesn't mean that you're a bad person, because you can't give all of your shit away to help people, because then you won't have anything for yourself. And then you have your own kids and your own life and your own vision, and you steal their growth opportunity. You steal the growth opportunity. If I was to get a homeless guy and throw him in here, it's not, then he just stays in my shit. Like, it's not, he's meant to be a man, figure it out for himself. That's the nature of life. And some people get a hard deck of cards dealt and some get a good deck of cards, but that's the way that it goes. It's just to say what cards are good or bad. It's not, see, some people, there'll be people who are 5'2" that are happier than me in life. And there'll be people that are 6'6" that are sadder than me in life. Like that's true. Like, that's the nature of the game. Like, it's just, again, and life is in itself not meant to be a period of where you're just happy all of the time, but it's about finding alignment. A lot of you say that you want a family, and then you just fantasize about having a bunch of whores around you. And then you think that your kid's going to look in and be like, my dad is a fuckboy, like as though that's impressive in some way. I see my daughter, but I don't have her with me because I know that my life is not impressive for a daughter. Like, it's not something to be around. I'm irresponsible with women. And again, like, you have to be honest. Like, look at yourself in the mirror and be like, what have you contributed to the dating pool? I've contributed a lot of train wrecks because I've fucked up a bunch of women. Not all of them, but some. And then I'm just honest about where I'm at. You know, a lot of others that pimped women and done a bunch of bullshit. And then they sit there and they cry about women. Like, what the fuck have you pushed out there? You pushed a bunch of bullshit out, and in turn you get a bunch of bullshit back. That's it. That's just the nature of life. Like, you got to understand, like, it's just, people just can't, they just have no reflection in the mirror. Like, they just lack they lack depth. There's no like self-awareness. Some guys complaining about that shit they created. It's like, you, again, dumping rubbish into the river, and then you're like, why is there so much shit in the river? Well, it's you, of course, as well. And then others see it, and they're like, oh, well, we're all just dumping shit in the river. Oh, well, I'm just going to get them before they get me. So why not? I'll just steal this phone and steal this bullshit. I'll break this chick's heart because, you know, why not? Someone did it to me. But instead of, you're not dealing with the bullshit, you're not rising above it. You're not taking the higher road and being like, you know, I can be fucking something. That's true. Yeah. How can I control procrastination? You can just, like I said, just delete the fucking bullshit. I don't know what you're watching on here, but probably crap. Take back control of your time. Get a fucking whiteboard on the board and write down what you do during the day. And essentially, procrastination is because you don't want it enough, or you're too distracted. But a lot of you are distracted, but you're fearful of who you can be, because again, you have a lot of negative programming. Like, a lot of you, again, kind of like got conditioned under a slave funnel of education, one, and then conditioned under a funnel of another, influencers who just yell at you and tell you that you're poor. But again, it doesn't teach you anything. Again, it just pulls on the threads. See, shame is the easiest thing to pull on. Do you know I could run fucking 100 cults if I wanted to? I know all of that stuff about shame and how to find people that essentially are easy to monetize and easy to like control. But I don't want that. Like, if you ever come into my group, a lot of the guys are leaders in there. They're not guys that just sit there and worship me. I don't have anything that I push out there that you should be like me. You should take the good in me, and you should also see the very deep flaws and the errors and things that I've made in my life, and you don't have to make them. I'm not the perfect man. That's true. And that's fine, because I don't claim to be. That's the thing. You can see the errors and things that I've done, and you yourself can see the errors in your own way. That's about being aware, though. See, I have very much a saying where a lot of guys think their dad is like Hercules or something like that, and their dad is just a normal man. Doesn't mean that he's bad. But a lot of you need to kill the image of your father as well, because you need to be the head of your own household, and in doing so, you become the head of your own reality. That's true. Doesn't mean you disrespect him. Doesn't mean you don't love him. Doesn't mean you don't care about him. But you need to be the head of your own household, and you need to become the man. And to become the man, you have to metaphorically kill the man. That's true. All of those ideas are very, very true. You have to essentially kill the life. Though for some of you, the parachute idea, you know, the I have a problem and I call my dad, or I have a problem and I call someone else, but you're like 30 years old. When you have a son, you're going to call your dad to be like, oh, I don't know what to do with my son. Like, you have to figure it out. A lot of life is found that you just act like you've been there before, even if you don't know what you're doing. Do you know how many times in life I've been in positions where I haven't had a single fucking clue what I was doing? Like, being in dangerous environments, selling drugs, like being around and walk into a house with 6 crackheads. I've got an ounce of fucking like gear. Could easily just chop my head off. Like, people just chop people up in places like that. Been around like Browns Plains, 8 Mile Plains, like ghettos. People just decide like they can just kill you like that. But I always acted confident, and I always acted like I had a force behind me. So then people just assume that it's true, and they're just like, oh, well, it must be true. Conviction is very powerful. Like conviction is the fucking cheat code. Like you feel it in your bones that you're meant to be there. Like at being on a date when you're with an 8 and you know that like you're over your head. Like you don't really know what you're doing. You're on this date, or like your first time you fuck, or maybe you're not good at sex, or you don't really know what you're doing. She's the hottest girl you've ever been with. And as soon as you start to think that, or you feel the fear, she feels it too. And she's like, oh, this guy, like, I'm not interested anymore. Get him the fuck away from me. Versus if you just kind of wing it, like you're just like, oh, okay, I'm gonna go all in here. I think that I've kind of like it's fine, and then it is fine. Like a lot of life is like that as a man. Like there are a lot of things in life there's no reference manual for. See, life is different to like what's written down, like the 48 laws of power and things like that. There are a few that are good, but you got to realize the guy who wrote it was predominantly a loser. Like he lived with his mom and doing all of these things, and well done, he wrote a book. But he's not. Again, a lot of that stuff doesn't work in reality. Power games and posturing and little strategies, that doesn't work. Power is power. Power is all the games work when you have power. All the games work when you have infrastructure, when you have utility, you have something that people want from you. None of those games are going to work for anything if people don't want you around. Like no one has to deal with it. So why the fuck does it matter if you're doing all of this shit? People just notice all of those games and all that posturing and all of these tricks immediately. And tricks are for children. Like they really are. Tricks are just for kids. Like that shit works at the low level. As soon as anyone feels any sort of like your game or any strategies or anything like that, they're out. Like specifically if you don't have any value. But if you do have value, you can play games, but you didn't need to anyway, because value is all that matters. Like, control or power, or you control an infrastructure piece, or people have to come to you. I don't know, you don't have to be the complete area, but even in the church or something like people just have a reason to tolerate you. Like you have value. You run parties or you have girls around or something. People have to be nice to you because they know that if they don't, they're going to lose access to something. It can be lose access to something. Like generally, they have to tolerate you even if they don't like you. That's a big part of life as a man. You have to have something behind you. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have fear behind you. That's one part of things that you can have. But fear runs out. So being a big, like a lot of these like nerds, their fantasy is that everyone's scared of them for some reason. Again, that's fear based. They're themselves insecure. They themselves have they're like fearful. They're scared to be vulnerable again. And again, that only comes with hurt. See, there's many phases, right? Like I've had it before. I've been hurt. And then I also got to like that robotic Terminator. Like I'm going to like scare people away before they come to be scared of, like before they can hurt me. And I'm covered in tattoos. I mean, it's a pretty big reflection of that, right? So you're going to scare others before they themselves can reject you, right? I've rejected society before society itself rejected me again. And then that these are all things that are like, they're quite childish. Transcendence is essentially you've ascended past that. And you're like, yes, I could be hurt. And that's true. But I'm also it's better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all. You don't need to scare people. Like what are you scaring people for? Like most people are harmless. Most people are not bad people. If you have a good judge of character and you have frame control and you have, essential like respect for others, it's very unlikely that you're going to run into a ton of problems. Obviously, if you're in ghettos and running around certain areas, it's different. But it's a lot of that stuff is crap. Like you get what you are. So if you're pushing out rejecting and abrasive and like, you're staring at people and a bunch of this crap online where everyone needs to be a fighter for some reason, all of this bullshit, then that's kind of what you're going to get back. Like a lot of that stuff is fear-based, again, like scarcity-based. You're pushing out an image to reject or push others into a certain way because, again, you're like fundamentally insecure. You're scared to show like even laughing or all of this crap is like so bad for some reason. A lot of that shit is dumb. Like in prisons and things like that, a lot of guys, they don't do that. Like, guys still laugh a lot because they're fucking dangerous people. Like they know that if you fuck around with them, the guy can laugh, but then he can just stab you. There's no fucking standing there staring at people and shit like that because dangerous people don't care about that. Like they can have fun and then suddenly they just completely can go psycho. That's the truth. But again, that's all the full spectrum of emotions is the highest energy and the highest vibration. And it's essentially how you'll ascend. Because you won't know if you're descending if you're disconnected from yourself. How you notice it is emotions. Like, how do you feel? Like, if you're to shut the camera or turn this off and you go sit down in bed, what comes up? Like, what's this stress? What's anything? Like, can you sleep? Some of you can't. Some of you have to take all of this bullshit to sleep and you're scared of your own dreams and all of this crap happens. I understand with dreams and things like that. And a lot of dreams are your shadow coming out. And you actually start to meet your shadow and then you're like, oh, there's demons around and I'm being possessed and a bunch of bullshit. Your shadow will start to get your attention over time. demons and all of that shit. Like this, like there's some boogeyman gonna come and attack me. That's all crap. Like that's all bullshit. A lot of it is just shadows. The shadow, your circle is a representation of your inner self. That's a big thing that people don't realize. Your shadow is very likely in your circle already, in a physical person or others around you, certain qualities of people that you keep around and you don't understand why. They're physical manifestation of your shadow, very likely. You see it in others, and then often you don't know why you keep that sort of people around, but you keep them around because you're trying to get an understanding of yourself, but you don't know to look internally for that, because a lot of your shadow work scares you guys. But your shadow is, if incorporated, can become actually like a superpower. It's true, because if you come to meet others, you can recognize their shadow, and if you can acknowledge it, it's like uniting to them with the thread. Like if you can see the shadow in others and they can acknowledge it in a way that essentially makes that part of them feel heard, they start dreaming about you. They'll start thinking about you at night. They'll have, even dudes, not dreaming of fucking you, but they'll have dreams at night and be like, oh, I just like was thinking of you for some reason. I don't know why. Because it's the subconscious. They're drawn to you. They don't know why. But essentially it's because you get something in them that others can't get. You see something in them that they've never really seen in others. Like no one's really seen them in the way that you see them. You see through them. And that can be scary at first. If you have that quality, I have that quality. It can scare a lot of people. If you have a quality to see through them as they are, you can find that people can get very angry at you for no reason. Like they can be, people just disconnect from you. Do you know what I mean? People don't talk to me. Like guys that were essentially friends of mine from the past, and then suddenly they just don't speak to me anymore because I think that they know that I can see parts of them and it makes them uncomfortable. And doesn't mean that I judge them and things like that. But a lot of people, they don't like to be seen as they are. They can get combative. They can get passive aggressive. I deal with passive aggressive people all the time. I deal with gatekeeping people all the time. People who say that they're my friends and then they try to get me taken off podcasts and shit so that I can't do fucking any content. I can't actually expand. That's just the nature of the game. Like that's the nature of life. If you're like that, if you're a special person, then that's just what people will do. And that's fine. I don't sit there and get butthurt over it, all of that. I've dealt with that most of my life. A lot of people, when they were bullied and things like that, when they're younger, outside of being weird, your weirdness is actually likely a cheat code. Like it's likely a cheat code for you, specifically if it's not degenerate shit. Like if you're weird because you're trying to stare up chicks' skirts or something like that, it's pretty crazy. But again, something else that they picked on you because you were weird, it's very likely, again, a test from like the lattice or the basilisk concept. You're being identified as that, but how there's a gift there at the end of it, but are you like willing to suffer to get it? I used to get called Stephen Strange in school for years. People would fuck with me all the time. I had really bad psoriasis. So they would run up and scratch my head, and then I would have a jumper on, and then I would just be covered in dandruff, and then I would have to exist for the whole like that. I would get such big sores all over my head that I would like not cry, but be pretty close to it. I never stood up for myself, so I would sit there all the time and think, what am I going to do? Like I need to do something, but I can't because I didn't have any friends. See, I didn't have any friends. Zero. My dad was sick. I didn't have anyone that had my back. But that's when I learned also that I never need anyone to have my back. I'm very good at standing on my own. So then if I get bullied by people or people try to fuck with me online, it doesn't mean anything to me. Like I've been fucked with by the best. So that stuff doesn't really matter to me. So I'm good at walking in my own lane, but understand that alignment concept. Like you've been given a gift and then someone shook it up to see that you deserve it. Like a gift can be creative drawing. You draw something and then someone runs up and says that you're a fag. Like, why are you drawing? Don't you see how lame that is? Like, this is stupid. You're a man. Like, men don't do this crap. You're on the guitar and someone says that you're a retard. Like, why are you doing guitar? Like, who do you think you are? But off the back of that, if you're to continue through it, then there's a gift at the end of that for that. Like being able to express beauty into the world, there's very few higher purposes than that. See, art is to be considered like a weirdo now, but art is changed in that a lot of the art that they promote and pay, that's intentional that it's weird because they understand art itself now is a demoralization campaign for real. Like the art that's pushed now to you so that you look at and you're like, can they pay $1 million for a banana? That's because they're trying to pull beauty from the world. That's real. The same reason you walk around and you look around the West and you look out and it's like gray palette and all of this crap, because essentially it's pulls that fucks that a lot of that shit up. Like that, there's a lot of source and a lot of value in art. Like a creative flow is real. Creative flow is not it can be on a guitar, it can be a singer. There's just something so beautiful to it. Like you get lost in the moment. Like I can listen to someone sing or play the harp or play the guitar, and even if they're not that good, like it could be a dude, it could be a chick, I don't care. And it's just in that moment, like you're lost. Like you've lost like the shackles of the reality that we're in, because it transcends that. Like love doesn't exist in the physical. Love transcends the physical realm. Love is the highest frequency, the highest vibration. You'll never control love. Like you can't. And as such, when you try to control a woman, your control lever goes up, and that you can control her more, of course. But in doing so, the love lever will go down, because the more that you try to control it, the more that you lose her heart. That's true. Like you can control a woman in a prison of logic where essentially she can't do many things, but you will lose her heart, like in the long run, and you've probably already lost it the moment that you go down those roads. Like you can't control love. As such, you cannot control when you choose not to love someone anymore, and you can't control to choose to love them either. Sometimes we love people that aren't that good for us, and we don't know how to really wrap it up. Some of you guys don't know how to close off like karmic ties with women. Like some of you have like soul ties with a chick that was shit, and you don't know how to cut it off. I teach a lot of that stuff in TCM. Fuck is that? Must be some shit. But yeah, a lot of that stuff is like, you know, those sort of ideas and things, the things that you have to move through. And it's not things that aren't possible, right? Should I get abs and do boxing every day to grow my business and remove profession? 1 second. Turn this shit off. I think it's this. Fucking TV. But any more questions, lads? Or are we done? I don't know how to turn this TV off. I don't know where the remote is. Any more questions? I don't know about the channels, bro. I don't really monitor that sort of crap. I don't have this big viral platform. I don't think it ever will be. Well, yeah, boxing or like training your fucking abs. Why the fuck would training abs help you with procrastination, dude? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Of course, I don't know. That training abs is going to be irrelevant, bro. Like, training is good, but don't get lost in this, like, training for a purpose. Don't just train for no reason, right? Like, I'm doing boxing and suddenly it's going to make me into a man. A lot of that shit won't actually do that. It's just one part of being a man. Should I deal with girl not interested in convo after we've been talking? Well, you can't. Like, interest is a thing. Again, what comes in as low interest and you raise it, it's going to go back to low interest. It's not for you. Like, you can't fool someone into being with you. You got to value your own time and essentially just crank it down. I have a book coming out, so my book will be out next month. And do I think most men, it's less likely to find quality women to spend his life with? Will it get worse in the future? Of course. Yeah, 10 years from now, it'll be worse. The women are on a decay. It's the nature of the game. Of course, it can be done. You can find good women, but again, you look in the mirror. Are you the man that your girl will want? And that's the nature of the game. All right, lads. Where do you think the video editing social media space is heading? Well, I have a product that's essentially moving into that sort of thing. It's just going to get easier, and the tools will get better, and individualization and customization will be a massive thing, and essentially getting good data, which is what my product is for. All right, love you guys, and I'll talk to you very soon. Cheers.